Allan Aguirre with your Incorruptible. I knew this was going to turn on. I'm just faking stuff. Yeah. Allan Aguirre. Allan Aguirre with your Incorruptible 2-minute warning. Should we start that over again? No. Man, this 1 John content is so rich. I'm having a hard time getting past a single verse. For example, like what happened yesterday. Christianity literally teaches that you cannot not sin because you're human. Well, that completely defeats the whole purpose of Jesus and salvation, doesn't it? That was Muppets. All right. 1 John chapter 3, verses 9 through 12. Let's get through them. No one who has God as his father keeps on sinning, Christians, because the seed planted by God remains in him. It's the seed called Jesus, Messiah, restoration, rejuvenation, spirit of adoption. Quit making excuses for... Bill Johnson says at some point you're going to have to start being convinced of your own salvation. That is, he cannot continue sinning because he has God as his father. So then you must not have God as your father. I mean, come on. Don't be so ridiculous. Verse 10. Here is how one can distinguish clearly between God's children and those of the adversary. Remember, if you're not God's children, then you're the son of the adversary, right? What did we already learned all this, that if you keep sinning, you're not really one of us because you're of the adversary, your father, the devil. Well, here's how one can distinguish clearly between God's children and those of the adversary. Everyone who does not continue doing what is right is not from God. Likewise, anyone who fails to keep loving his brother is not from God. Very clear. Everyone who does not continue doing what is right, everyone that keeps sinning, everyone that keeps doing wrong is not from God. That's how you can tell and distinguish clearly between God's children and those of the devil, as well as not loving your brother. For this is the message which you have heard from the beginning, that we should love each other. Verse 12, and not be like Cain, who was from the evil one and murdered his own brother. Why did he murder him? Because his own actions were evil and his brothers were righteous.
The views and opinions expressed during our broadcasts are solely those of the broadcast producers, hosts, and/or guests, etc., and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the Travelog Network, its sponsors, or affiliates.